Hey everyone, and welcome back to Brian's Horror Movies for Life YouTube channel, and welcome to this modern horror movie review video. So the movie we're going to take a look at in this video is a Robert Eggers movie, um, who I really enjoyed The Witch from 2015, and I enjoyed his Nosferatu remake, especially from a visual standpoint. So the movie we're going to take a look at today is one of his that I haven't seen before until now, and that movie is The Lighthouse, which I have on DVD here. There's the back. So yeah, The Lighthouse is the movie we're going to take a look at today. So let's just go ahead and get into it. So The Lighthouse is a 2019 film directed and produced by Robert Eggers from a screenplay co-written with his brother Max Eggers. It stars William Dafoe and Robert Pattinson as turmoiled 19th century lighthouse keepers stranded at a remote New England outpost by a violent storm. The film has defied genre categories. The film has defied genre categorization in media, leading to multiple interpretation from critics. In the 1890s, Ephraim Winslow begins a 4-week stint as a Wickie, which is a lighthouse keeper, on an isolated island off the coast of New England under the supervision of former sailor Thomas Wake. In his quarters, Winslow discovers a small scrimshaw and mermaid and keeps it in his jacket. Wake immediately proves to be very demanding, subjecting Winslow to taxing jobs such as emptying chamber pots, maintaining the machinery, carrying heavy kerosene tanks up the stairs, and painting the lighthouse, while barring Winslow from the lantern room. Winslow observes that every night after ascending the lighthouse, Wake disrobes before the light. During the stay on the island, Winslow begins to hallucinate sea monsters and logs floating in the sea, and masturbates to the mermaid on the scrimshaw. Winslow is bothered by a one-eyed gull, but Wake warns him against killing it under the superstitious belief that gulls are reincarnated sailors. One evening, while dining, Wake reveals to Winslow that a previous Wickie died after losing his sanity, while Winslow reveals that he is a former timberman from Maine who was stationed in Canada and is now seeking a new trade. The day before their scheduled departure, Winslow discovers a dead gull inside the cistern, bloodying the drinking water. He is attacked by the one-eyed gull and brutally bludgeons it to death. The wind drastically changes direction and a fierce storm hits the island. So yeah, that's to set up the premise, the beginning of the 2019 Robert Eggers movie, The Lighthouse. As far as the cast goes, it's very short. There's two actors in this movie. Robert Pattinson as Ephraim Winslow, or Thomas Howard, I should say, and William Dafoe as Thomas Wake. That's your cast right there. So yeah, that's The Lighthouse. This is an interesting movie on a lot of different fronts, and yeah, let's just go ahead and get into it. I'm not quite sure what I wanted to say there, but this movie, it's kind of, it's a bit, what's the word I'm looking for? Polarizing. I think Robert Eggers' movies kind of are. I know The Witch was split and polarizing, even though I really enjoyed it. Nosferatu was kind of, although I think more people liked it than they didn't. But The Lighthouse, I've also heard that about. And I could kind of see why, because it's not your run-of-the-mill horror movie that a lot of people are going to enjoy on that level. There's a lot more to this movie than that. So let's just go ahead and get into it, starting with the things that I liked about the movie. And a lot of these are going to be the movie-making aspect. The performances by our two main actors are just exceptional. William Dafoe, who's always been a great actor, is so consistent and wonderful in his typical William Dafoe kind of way. And I thought Robert Pattinson gives probably his best performance that I've ever seen him in, showing off an incredible range, and from being even keeled to batshit crazy, basically, by the end of the movie. But yeah, I thought the performances, I mean, in a movie like this where you only have two actors, basically, that have to carry a almost 2 hour, just under 2 hour movie. They got the right two. Let's just put it that way, because These two carry the movie, and they carry it very well. So you got to start with those performances by these two, just phenomenal. I also thought the characters they played were fairly interesting. They're not just they're pretty complex characters in a lot of ways. And it might even be more relatable to people out there. They're not carbon copy cutouts like you see in a lot of slasher movies or anything. These are characters that have a lot of depth and some secrets and things like that. So that makes it interesting. The movie's very well directed. With incredible visual flair and terrific camera work, as well as creating a real sense of claustrophobic atmosphere throughout the movie, especially the second half of the movie, but really the whole movie. Robert Eggers' genius is on display here. The guy just knows how to make movies. He knows how to direct movies, even the movies that don't work or hit for everybody. You can't deny the fact that this guy's definitely he's in the right field. Especially from a visual standpoint, because The Witch, this movie, Nosferatu, the guy just has a flair for the visual, I guess. So yeah, I just thought he did a great job directing this movie. The movie has a solid score and really solid editing throughout the movie as well that I want to throw in there, even though it's not one of my top pros. It's not lost on me for sure. And then I have to say, this is a very big swing. As I mentioned, it's not your run-of-the-mill kind of horror movie. It's a very big swing with an original concept brought to life. Not a standard, seen-it-before kind of movie. So I give him a lot of credit for that. I always talk about M. Night Shyamalan's movies being very hit or miss, but he takes a lot of big swings. He doesn't just make a sequel or a standard kind of movie. And this movie, definitely, there's nothing standard about it. It's a very layered, metaphorical, psychological movie. And so I give him a lot of credit for that, because it's easy to just take the paycheck and make another Scream movie or something like that. So, and then obviously touching on the themes, I kind of picked up on them right away. Not to say I'm some kind of genius or anything, because I don't think that I am. And I don't necessarily think you have to be if you're just kind of thinking in terms of some more depth to a movie. But, I mean, the themes certainly weren't lost on me. And, so if you're somebody that likes to be challenged a little bit more by a movie and not just the old hack and slash where you don't have to think. I mean, I like those movies too, but I also like a good mystery that involves thinking and being challenged. There's definitely some relatable themes in this movie that I think most people will be able to find. And like it said in the intro, the film is interpreted a lot of different ways by a lot of different people, and that's great. I think that's also another pro to having a movie that can challenge so many people and not have it be. It's a double-edged sword, because a lot of people aren't going to like it because it's not. Here's what this means. It's not black and white like a lot of people like in their horror, and other people are really going to like it because it is different. It does challenge them, and it allows different people to have different interpretations, and that can be fun. And I think it's a credit to the movie making process. So those are my pros for The Lighthouse from 2019. As far as cons go, I mentioned this about another movie not too long ago. I forget which one it was, but this doesn't strike me as a horror movie. Psychological thriller, maybe. I would say more of a metaphorical fantasy, psychological fantasy kind of movie, or dark fantasy. That's really what I was searching for. Psychological dark fantasy. I think that's probably the best way to describe this movie. Sure, I mean, if you could say there's horror aspects to it if you want, but for me, there wasn't one moment that this movie scared me. There's a few tense moments, especially towards the end as things are kind of coming to a head, but I'm not sure I would classify this movie as horror. Again, it's more of a dark fantasy movie. It really, I have to be honest with you, as much as this is a movie I appreciate more than I like, and I think I said that about the other one too not too long ago. As a horror movie, again, I'm viewing this through a horror movie lens because this is Brian's Horror Movies for Life YouTube channel. It's not just, if this were just Brian's Movies for Life, it'd probably get a higher rating than it's going to end up getting from me. But from a horror movie standpoint, it just doesn't work for me. Like I think it does for a lot of other people. Again, I can appreciate it. I understood the dramatic, the thematic elements and themes that the movie's going for, and I really give it a lot of praise for that. But I don't foresee this being a movie that I'm going to reach for all that often or rewatch all that often. It's probably one of those movies you kind of have to be in the mood for, because like 75% of the movie is basically these two guys talking. And they do a great job with the dialogue. The dialogue, how it's written and how it's delivered, is all fine. It's a very good, I would say. But again, horror movie? Not really. Not for me anyway. Everybody's got a different interpretation of that too, though, as far as what makes a horror movie. But for me, it doesn't. It's not a horror movie. That doesn't make it a bad movie. As a dark fantasy movie, I think it's very effective. But as a horror movie, not so much. So, again, I just don't think it has a high rewatchability factor, at least for me. I kind of feel like I should take it off my horror shelf and put it with my other movies. Again, I appreciate it more than I like it. And hopefully that makes sense to a lot of you out there. I appreciate all the movie-making aspects, the performances, the directing, what it was going for, being left up to interpretation and not being a black and white, here it is kind of movie, which we often get more times than not. I appreciate all that stuff. That being said, I'm not going to go to this for horror in the future. I'm just not. And of the 3 Robert Eggers movies I've seen, I would have to say it ranks 3rd at this point. I like The Witch more, and I like a Nosferatu remake more. And I haven't seen is it The Northman? I think so, or The Norseman? No, Northman, I think. And I think those are the 4 that he's directed up to this point. So, but yeah, that's not to say it's a bad movie. If you're looking for just a good movie that's not horror related, I would recommend it. If you're looking for a horror movie, I probably wouldn't recommend it unless you are somebody that doesn't like things to be black and white and has some interpretation to it. But even then, you're not going to be scared or even creeped out by this movie. At least I wasn't. It does have a few scenes of blood and gore, especially the ending scene. There's a couple other scenes with some blood and gore, but for the most part, this is psychological dark fantasy. So, as such, because this is Brian's Horror Movies for Life, I'm going to give The Lighthouse a 6.5 out of 10. As a regular movie, non-genre related, I'd probably give it like an 8.5 out of 10. But as it is, for this channel, 6.5 out of 10 for The Lighthouse by Robert Eggers from 2019. Go ahead and comment down below where you guys fall with this movie. Are you one of those that really like it and you do think it's horror? Please give your reasons down below in the comments. Are you somebody that didn't work for you? Kind of like it didn't work for me from just a horror entertainment standpoint. So with comment down below. With all that being said, please like this video, hit the little notification bell, and subscribe to my channel. If you haven't already, it would really help me out for the future content and going forward on my channel. But with all that being said, thank you for watching. I hope you're enjoying these modern horror movie reviews. And as always, ooh, my voice cracked there. As always, stay scared. Bye.